Now, if whatever invaded makes it past my first line of defense, my second line of defense, and the body, that general defense cannot take care of it, all right, it's now going to need help. This is the point that do you guys remember me talking about the antigen presenting cells? Okay, these are going to be some of those white cells that have made it to the area of the breach, and no matter how much they've tried to call up for help, okay, there's too much of the pathogen. And they're now saying, okay, we need some further help. This is the point that the antigen presenting cells, okay, will take and present the pathogen to my T cells. And it will now activate my immune system. The third line of defense. This is my immune system. It's going to create a memory of whatever has happened. This is now specific because it mounted an attack against one pathogen. Now, if there's more than one, we call up more than the one set of T cells, so to speak. They are presented separately. There's only presentation of one at a time. Doesn't mean that I couldn't have one being fought off while another one's being presented, because you can, okay? But this is now specific. The body is going to have to use the T cells and the B cells, all the chemicals that are going to come along with it, to destroy the pathogen. When it's done, the memory cells will get stored in, most likely, lymph nodes, all right? And then they wait. The memory cells, once created, they just wait. That's their job now. Their job is to wait for that same pathogen to try to invade your body again. And when it does, they mount the attack very quickly and you don't get sick again. This is immunity. The first and second lines are strictly defense. Do you understand the difference? Because my first and my second line, I did not attack anything specific. It was general against anything, virus, bacteria, whatever. But my third line had to get specific. It had to attack a specific virus, specific toxin, specific bacteria, whatever the case might be. It had to be specific. So, what's going to happen when we encounter a pathogen? And pathogens can be anything, all right? It could be an allergy. an allergen, I should say, okay? It could be a bacteria, it could be a virus, it could be a toxin, it could be a cancer cell in your body, all right? It can be anything that is not a self cell. Now, when you read your textbook, you're going to read about how these T cells and B cells, especially the T cells, it's really cool, okay, what happens. They actually have to, it's almost like they have to get initiated to be able to be a T cell in our body. They have to pass a test. It's really cool if you read about it in your textbook. And if they don't pass the test, in other words, if they attack the body cell that they're being tested with, the body will destroy it. It's really cool the way it happens. And so the T cells that pass the test, they're the ones that get to move into your mostly lymph nodes, but it can be other lymph organs also. So it's really interesting what happens with these cells. So when we encounter a pathogen, the first thing, for the most part, okay, the first thing that has to happen is it has to get past the first line of defense, which is the external barrier. And if it does, it gets attacked by phagocytes, the ones that like to eat, okay? Our leukocytes and our macrophages are very important at this point. Do you remember those little lymphocytes? And everything that they seem to be involved in? And do you remember how when the fluid comes into the lymph node and it exits, it's carrying lymphocytes with it? That's because we need a whole bunch of them. But anyway, we're going to find that there are certain types of the leukocytes that are involved when we encounter a pathogen. Once again, think back to chapter 18 and that picture that you have of like the red blood cells, all the white blood cells that are present, the platelets, okay? Think back to that picture. Now, neutrophils. Do you remember them? Neutrophils, these are pretty numerous in our body, all right? Their number is relatively good, okay, in a white blood cell count. Now, the reason for that, here's what they can do. They can wander around in the connective tissue. This means they can migrate out of the bloodstream. And because they're a white blood cell, they are there for protection. So if you think about all the areas of the body that we encounter connective tissue, this cell is like wandering around in it. Have y'all ever seen animations of it? Look it up on YouTube. It's really cute. Okay? Basically, this cell looks like a little amoeba moving around in the connective tissue. If it encounters something, it works by way of phagocytosis and digestion. So, it will basically wander around in the tissue. If it encounters something, oh, that was good. And then the little lysosomes that are in the cell will digest the pathogen. Now, these little cells, they can eat up pathogens. They could eat up stuff like dead cell parts. It's really cool what happens to them. Now, another thing that the neutrophils can do, they can have the production. Did I type something wrong again?
Coulda.
Is the production of coulda. I really need to start proofreading, don't I? Okay, here's what they can do. They can have the production of bacterial chemicals that they discharge into the surrounding tissue fluid because they're in the matrix.
Is it supposed to be bactericidal? That's correct, or is it bacterial? That's correct.
I have really got to start proofreading.
But bactericidal is correct, right?
Yeah, that's all.
Oh,
Bactericidal. Man, y'all keep me straight. Because they are at the cellular level. This means that they are moving around in the fluid around the cells. So if they can produce this product, that product can destroy. Now note what it can destroy. A lot of bacteria. Now, here's what they produce. The chemicals that get produced, they're like a superoxide. It's basically hydrogen peroxide, hypochlorite. So think of almost like a bleach-like product. All right? Now, love the commercials that we see for the Clorox cleaning products, you know, especially the one when they're standing over the toilet and the lady's going, I don't know what the names were, but like so and so. Think about everything that happens right here. And like, I think the lady's holding some little flowery, smelly thing to clean the toilet. And the lady's like, And that the other woman goes, that's why you need to have the bleach. You know, and it's true. Bleach kills just about everything. So they're actually letting out a chemical that's very similar. But now it's acting on bacteria. Okay? Here's the thing that'll happen. If I have my area where I've got my cells, and this is my extracellular fluid, and then I've got the pathogen that has tried to invade this area, my neutrophil, okay, it can give off these chemicals which will kind of like seep around into this extracellular fluid, destroy my pathogen, but at the same time, it destroys my neutrophil. But that's okay, because we get more. And this would be just I wouldn't say easy, but it is a way to take care of bacteria that may have tried to enter into your body. Now, in our mucous membranes, one of the cells, because of what we're getting exposed to, okay? A lot of times, you know, we're exposed to the allergens. One of the cells that'll help with that are the eosinophils. But eosinophils will also help fight off parasites that we might be exposed to. A couple of other things they work against too. But these are going to be in highest number in the mucous membranes because of what they do. And note, I said they're superpowers because the neutrophils, I kind of saw it as like their superpowers, all right? They use their superpowers to fight the allergens along with some of the other pathogens that we might get exposed to.